So thank you for coming in today. So I just want to start by saying it was really a pleasure to work with and do the test with your daughter. She had a really good attitude. She was really eager to go through the different subtests. And she really put her best effort forward. She really tried hard and worked hard throughout all the subtests we did. So what we did was called the WIAT 3. So the WIAT is an achievement, it's an individual achievement test, and it looks at where your child is at in terms of their reading, their math, their listening comprehension, and their oral discourse. So I did several different subtests with your daughter, and then I have also here how this is scored. So this test, it gives your child a standard score for each of the subtests. And if the standard score is between 85 and 115, this is within the average range. So you see here, most of the children around your daughter's age and grade will fall into this range. Higher than 115, then you're getting above average, where you see less and less children your daughter's age will fall into this category. As well as below 85, then there's below average, and also you see less people fall in this range. So, so your daughter, first of all, I would like to start with some of her strengths. And so she really showed math fluency, so those basic foundations of mathematics were some of her strengths. So we did a couple different math fluency subtests, addition, subtraction, and multiplication, and she scored within the average range. Now, part of the WIAT also looks at their math problem solving skills, as well as numerical operations, so math calculation skills. So your daughter in math problem solving and math operations, math calculations, scored just a bit below average there. So it shows us that her basics, her foundations of math are quite strong, and now she requires a bit more support to use those skills in math problem solving and to do more complicated math calculations. So that was the math part. Now, we also did some subtests that looked at her reading comprehension, as well as her word reading and pseudo-word decoding. So pseudo-word decoding means the child is given a list of alien words, so nonsense words, and it looks at if she's able to apply phonics skills, recognizing syllables in order to decode those words. So reading comprehension, your daughter got a standard score of 83. So 83 is very close to average. It's just a little bit here in the below average range. Then we saw that she struggled a lot more with word reading and pseudo-word decoding. So pseudo-word decoding was especially a struggle for her, where she scored 72. So she's right here in the below average range of 72. So this shows us that her word reading and her decoding skills, that's an area that we need to focus on in supporting her. That's where she's struggling. And often what happens is when a child struggles to read the words fluently, to decode the words, this has an impact on their comprehension. Because the more fluently a child can read, the easier it will be for them to understand what they're reading. Because they don't have to stop and try to figure out the word. That sort of blocks them a bit from being able to comprehend what they're reading. So, by knowing that this is an area that she struggles more with, word reading and pseudo-word decoding, we can provide her with more supports there, and this will have an impact on also improving her reading comprehension. One other area of the WIAT that we tested her was on writing. So Written expression. So there's two parts to her written expression. So sentence composition, that tested how she builds sentences or combines sentences, and also spelling. So in the sentence composition, your daughter also scored just below average. So this is another area of academics that she struggles with, that we need to provide her with more supports for. Okay, so this WIAT that we did, this test that we did, it's really a snapshot of what she is able to do on the day she is tested. So this means that with supports, in the future, her scores can become higher. So this doesn't mean that throughout the rest of her schooling, this is where she'll sit on the curve. So this is just a snapshot of where she is now, which helps us to know how to support her in building those academic skills. Does that make sense? Okay, so based on the level B assessment that I did with her, there are some recommendations that I have for her, both for in the classroom and also for outside of the classroom. So I do recommend that she gets level C testing. So level C testing would be done by a school psychologist. And this type of testing really looks at what is going on in the brain when she's trying to figure out reading, writing, and those math skills. So this will give us a better look at what is going on while she is working on reading, writing, and math. I also recommend that she receive Tier 2 intervention. So Tier 2 intervention is when a learning assistance teacher will take a small group of children and they will work outside of the classroom in their own small setting with that group of children to build reading skills, reading comprehension skills, writing skills. So I recommend that she sees the intervention teacher 3 times per week for learning assistance to help build those skills for decoding and reading comprehension. And then I also recommend that in the classroom, some supports be put in place to help her with reading, writing, and math in the classroom. So because I see her reading, her word reading, and pseudo-word decoding falls a bit below average, that tells me that it's taking her a bit more time to read pieces of text or passages that she needs to read. So a recommendation that I would have for her in the classroom is that when she has to do assignments or tests, that the teacher gives her more time to complete those, because it's going to take her a bit more time to read what she needs to read in order to do them. Does that make sense? Okay, so that concludes our meeting. I hope it all made sense. Do you have any questions? Okay, thank you.